All right, Cedric, let's send things back over to you for another check of that forecast. How are we looking?
All right. Well, we've got a cold start out there for many areas across the Beehive State this morning. We've got these numbers in the teens and 20s in many spots. So as you head out the door, give yourself a little extra time, especially if you're parked outside of the garage or a carport. You're likely going to have some of that frost coating the car once again. So you'll want to give yourself a little extra time to get prepared to take off this morning. But otherwise, just make sure that the heater is working and should be good with those teens and 20s warming up as we go throughout the day. Here's the weather map. You can see we've got this big ridge of high pressure situated right along the west coast right now, and that is creating quiet, calm conditions here across the Beehive State. We've got a weather maker moving across the upper Midwest. That's diving down from the north and west, giving us some winter weather and some strong winds, but that's going to continue to move off towards the east. But as this system moves by, we may get clipped by the tail end of that front, and that could be just enough to potentially bring us a little bit of a wind shift that could help try to beat back some of this haze. But it's going to be a tough call to see if we get a big improvement from the inversion, but we really won't know until we get to Saturday. I can tell you today, though, code orange is still in effect there for us from Davis County down through Salt Lake County and Utah County, where we are going to be looking at that reduced air quality sticking around across the area. Again, that means that you're going to need to limit your time outside. If you have to spend a large amount of time outside, just make sure that you have that mask that you're wearing that filters out the PM 2.5, that particulate matter. Otherwise, moderate air quality expected across the rest of northern Utah. All right, let's go to Futurecast, see if we've got any actual storm systems moving our way. I put it on the national map because really the weather is going to be focused east of the Continental Divide as we go throughout the next several days. So again, we're going to have some big time weather here going on with some stormy weather over the Tennessee Valley, snowy weather over the Great Lakes here, but we're not going to see any of the precipitation, but enough of a wind shift out of the north and west that could try to help clear out some of this inversion haze. Otherwise, high pressure keeps us high and dry with all the active weather off towards the eastern half of the country. So while we stay dry and quiet over the weekend, I'm going to show you a place that will likely see some winter weather, including some accumulating snow. And yeah, check this out. I'm talking places like Mobile, Alabama, Pensacola, Florida, the Florida Panhandle, places like Panama City, over towards portions of the southeast here. These are all areas where we're likely going to be picking up accumulating snow and the potential of maybe even seeing more snowfall than what we've seen all season long here. So pretty impressive there, at least here in Salt Lake City, where we've only had a tenth. But high pressure otherwise will be in place across the area, and we're going to be looking at those quiet conditions sticking around through the weekend. So mild conditions with mid-40s in your high temperature here as we go throughout the weekend along the Wasatch Front. Upper 50s here along the weekend in the St. George area. All right, if you're making plans to head to the MLK March here, we're going to be looking at that thing starting off live 2 to 4 o'clock here on ABC4 as we get throughout the beginning of the week. Well, we're going to be looking at those temperatures that are going to be in the upper 40s. So if you're going to be heading to that march, just know, looking at some good weather with lots of sunshine, clear sky, and temperatures into the upper 40s. For St. George, we're looking at lots of sunshine, near 60 for your Friday. We'll be in the 50s as we go throughout the weekend. Heading into next week, lots of sunshine for your MLK Day. No weather issues expected out there for you. Otherwise, as we look at your forecast along the Wasatch Front, hazy sunshine with that inversion, low 40s for your temperatures, mid 40s for the weekend with lots of sunshine for your MLK Day heading into next week with just a few clouds potentially for your Wednesday and Thursday. All right, let's get a check on your traffic and you'll be able to see. Looking pretty good overall. Let's look towards the St. George area, not tracking any major issues out there for you. Overlooking the city, looking pretty nice. A pretty good start to the day out there with traffic moving smoothly. Otherwise, watch out across the southern half of the Salt Lake Valley where we do have some hazy/foggy conditions out there. Could be some reduced visibility, so may need those headlights on as we go throughout the early morning hours, or maybe those low beams, just because, again, we've got some distorted views showing up there, especially on the south side of the valley. We'll keep you updated on your traffic and weather throughout the morning, but for now, we'll send it back to you guys.